Welcome to your Yin Yoga class for this week. This is the second Yin Yoga class. Last week we did a full body flow. This week we're going to focus on the shoulders, arms and wrists. Yin Yoga is a practice where we hold the poses for a little bit longer, so it is nice to be able to support your body as we do these longer holds. If you don't have actual yoga props at home, that's okay. You can grab some cushions instead of yoga blocks. You will need a strap, so you can just grab a belt or something that looks like a strap. And then we will have our knees on the mat for some of these poses. So if you have sensitive knees, it can be nice to place a blanket on the mat. So I hope you are enjoying these Yin Yoga classes. I personally really love Yin Yoga because I think it's very powerful to just sit quietly with yourself, getting to know your own thoughts and just forming a better relationship with them. So with that being said, I hope you will be able to take the next 70 minutes to sit quietly, to practice these poses without any distractions. So go ahead and get ready, grab what you need, and then I'll meet you back here on the mat. We'll begin today in a comfortable seat, so sit whatever way works best for you. And once you're ready, just take a moment to lengthen up your spine, relax your shoulders, close your eyes or soften your gaze, unclench your jaw, and make your facial muscles spacious. So scanning through all those tiny muscles around your mouth, across your forehead, within your eyebrows, and just undoing all of them. The hardest part is over now that you're here. So take a big celebratory breath in. Open your mouth and exhale. Continue to cultivate this deep breath as best you can. And just imagine relaxation pouring onto the top of your head, maybe like honey or maple syrup. And it's slowly dripping down. As it goes, it's relaxing every muscle that it touches. So again, softening up your face, relaxing your shoulders, letting your belly, your abdominal just go, dropping your hips into whatever you're sitting on, relaxing your legs, softening your knees, and now relaxing your feet. As you continue to breathe, try to keep scanning through your body. It is very likely that those muscles will clench up again as soon as you take your eye off of them, your internal eye, that is. So just encouraging them to come back to that relaxed state. We'll just take a few more breaths. We'll move into our Nadi Shodana breath, which we practiced in the previous video, but I'll run through it again in case you weren't here. So you can open your eyes if they're not already open. Bring your index finger and thumb together on your left hand, and your left hand can just rest wherever it feels good. Then on your right hand, you're pressing your middle finger and your index finger up into the space between your eyebrows. Then you'll be using your thumb and your ring and little finger to close off your nostrils at alternative points. We're going to add on a little bit, so we'll be inhaling for the count of 4 and exhaling for the count of 8 if you can. If not, don't worry. Our goal is just to make the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale, if that feels good for you. So we'll start together and then I'll leave you to count in silence for the last few rounds. So let's bring that middle and index finger up in between the eyebrows. Bring your right thumb to your right nostril and close it off. Breathe in through your left nostril for 1, 2, 3, 4. Close your left nostril, open up your right nostril. Breathe out right for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. Continue at your own count now. Once you exhale from your left nostril, you can remove your hand and return to a normal breath. There's no rush here. Now just observing as we sit quietly any new sensation or new energy that you might find within your body, your breath. With an exhale, you can gently open up your eyes, bringing yourself back, and we'll make our way into our first pose, which in Yin pose is called, or in Yin Yoga is called tadpole pose, but we generally refer to it as wide leg child's pose. So you can come and set yourself up. We'll be holding here for 2 minutes. Then after tadpole, we're moving into frog, we're evolving. And in frog, you're gonna have your knees on the mat. So if you do have your blanket, I would recommend to place it on your mat now. Then you're bringing your knees wide apart, your big toes together. You can have a cushion or yoga block in underneath your hips here if needed. Then reach your hands towards the front of the mat and drop your forehead towards the mat. If the forehead doesn't come to the mat, you can rest it on a cushion or a yoga block. Now let's try to reform that connection to the breath, attaching our awareness completely to it with each breath in and each breath out. Your mind might quickly become bored, which is normal. Just encourage it to be interested in the breath, be interested in every sensation it makes, every feeling it brings. You can also bring some awareness into the sensation within your physical body. Try to attach some attention there. And we'll just be here for a few more breaths. With an inhale, start to lift yourself back up. Now you can stay with tadpole pose, but if you want to go a little bit deeper and come into frog pose, we're keeping our knees exactly as they are, but then bringing our ankles to make a straight line from the knee to the ankle. And our toes are pointed away from us. So it is a little bit deeper of a hip opener. You can fidget around until you find what works. Then we want to shift forward so our hips are directly above our knees, and you can bring your forearms down onto the mat. We'll be here like this for 3 minutes. So remember, our principles of Yin Yoga is to find an appropriate depth. So we don't want to push the limitations of our body. We want to respect it exactly as it is. And that might mean coming back down into child's pose or tadpole, and that's completely fine. Our second principle is to commit to stillness. So unless we're in pain or extreme discomfort, we're holding the pose and we're committing our mind to be still, trying not to let those thoughts invade your time in the pose. And then our third principle is time. So we're holding the poses for a little bit longer than we might be used to. As we start to settle into frog pose, you might be presented your edges. So this might be your final edge exactly as you are, or if you get that invite to go a little bit deeper, you can start to gently press your hips back and down, so you'll find a deeper opening. Remember to keep a little bit of awareness within your shoulders, trying not to clench them, keeping your jaw and your facial muscles relaxed. Encourage your mind to become interested in your breath and in the sensations you feel. One or two more really deep breaths in. When you're ready, you can really slowly reverse out of the pose, bringing your knees back towards each other, making our way into a brief tabletop pose. And we'll move into our next pose, which is Anatanasana, melting heart pose or puppy pose. So our knees are staying on the mat. We want to keep the knees directly below the hips for this pose. You'll notice when we go into it, there will be a tendency for your knees to slide back or to come forward. So keep checking in, making sure the hips stay above the knees. Then your hands are reaching towards the front of the mat and you're melting your chest down onto the mat. Forehead will come down as well. So this is a really nice shoulder and chest opener. Before we settle in, you might just check in on those hips, make sure they're still above your knees. And I know it can be hard when you can't see yourself, so don't worry too much, just try your best. Now, a few things to note here. We'll be holding for 3 minutes, so we want to make sure our body is safe and comfortable. If this is too intense, you can have a yoga block or a cushion underneath your chest. You can also take a bend into your elbows to bring your hands back closer to you. And if you feel any numbness or tingling within your hands, then you definitely want to take that bend into your elbows. The numbness is signifying to us that we are pinching a nerve, so we don't want to do that. You can adjust, fidget, find what works. Find your edge, your first edge. Commit to the stillness internally and externally. As thoughts start to arise, you might just ask yourself, do I really need to think about this right now? Or can I bring my awareness back to the present moment, focusing on my breath, on my body? If you get invited to go a little bit deeper, you might be able to drop your chest more towards the mat. To go very deep into this pose would be to bring your chin onto your mat. But of course, we might not be there yet, so there is no obligation to go there at all. Take your last 3 deep breaths. Now we're going to slowly slide onto the belly. Take your time as always getting there. If you get that urge to sigh, go with it. It's your body expelling whatever that pose has dug up and just helping to get it out of the body. So next up is Sphinx Pose. We will bring our hands to our elbows to measure the distance that our forearms are going to be at. And then bring your forearms parallel to each other. Slide your elbows forward so they're in front of your shoulders. You can spread your fingers wide apart. Your feet can be about hip or mat width distance apart. And then we want to try to keep the chest shining forward. So imagine you have a headlamp on your chest. You need to see what's in front of you, so you need to keep that light lifting. Now this will cause your shoulder muscles to engage and to start to work a little bit, but at the same time you want to try to relax your shoulders. So we have a little bit of conflicting instructions going on to the body. You can take your time, find that position where you're lifted without using too much power. You can look straight out in front, or you can drop your head. If this pose becomes too intense, you can slide your elbows further in front of you. You can also place a cushion or a bolster underneath your chest. Now committing to the stillness, to keeping our awareness here on the mat. We're in Sphinx Pose for 3 minutes in total. You might start to feel a little bit of tension accumulating around your upper body. And this is a nice practice to see if you can let it go, if you can soften a little bit. And it's a very nice practice to become aware of your body. And with time, you'll start to notice when you're not on your yoga mat, maybe when you're sitting at your desk or you're just doing life, you'll start to notice that you're clenching your shoulders, and very quickly you'll be able to signal to yourself to relax them again. And that's one of the great things about practicing yoga. We cultivate that awareness. Take one more big breath in. When you're ready to exhale, you can start to slide down into crocodile pose, making a pillow with your hands. Rest your left cheek onto your pillow, so you're looking over to the right, and then slide your right knee up beside you, as far up as you can get it. So it's just like you're sliding into bed after a long day. We'll rest like this for a minute. Allow gravity completely into your body. Let it gently spill you across your mat. Now we'll transition into seal pose. So sliding that leg back down, having our feet hip or mat width distance apart. Palms can come next to the chest. Inhale to slowly pick yourself up, just landing at that first edge, not going too far too soon. You can keep a bend in your elbows, or you can straighten out your arms, whatever works for you. Again, you can look straight out ahead, or you can drop your head down. If seal pose doesn't feel really good for you today, you can continue to practice Sphinx Pose. We're holding seal for 2 minutes. We're halfway through this hold. And just as we were bringing awareness to our physical body, you can bring awareness to your thoughts, as we have been doing. And the more you can practice closing the door on those thoughts, again, you'll notice in your everyday life that you'll be able to stop certain thoughts that aren't serving you, at least for a little while. So that is really where the power of yoga, practicing yoga, comes in. You can become aware of those thoughts, you can disengage from them, and you can not let them rule you as much as they might otherwise. So keep practicing as you hold this pose. Notice what thoughts are coming in. Bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Prepare to slowly lower yourself back down. Let out whatever needs to come out. Make your pillow with your hands. This time resting your right cheek onto your pillow, sliding up your left knee, looking over towards the left, and relaxing here, letting your body digest everything we've done for the next 60 seconds. Now you can slowly start to migrate back up into a seat on your mat. Taking your time getting there, eventually you can come to sit with your legs out long in front of you. For the next portion of the class, we're going to be practicing cow face legs or shoelace pose. And we will also be doing cow face arms and eagle arms. So you can have your strap nearby. As always, you can sit up on a cushion or yoga block here. Then to come into our shoelace pose, you can start by bringing your right foot all the way back to your left hip, pulling it back as much as you need to. This is the half version of the pose, no problem to stay here, but if you do want to go deeper, you can bend your bottom knee as well. So now your left foot is over beside your right hip. And you can take some time adjusting here. Make sure you can feel both of your seat bones pressing down into whatever you're sitting on. Remember that we are coming to an appropriate depth. We're respecting our limitations. We're not worrying about how the pose looks. Just focus on how it feels. So if this doesn't feel good for you, just come back to a half shoelace. That's no problem. No one's gonna mind. No one's gonna judge you for doing half shoelace. And then with your spine nice and straight, you can take your strap, if you're using one, and put it over one of your shoulders. Your right arm reaches out in front, push it away from you, bring it all the way back behind you, and then turn your thumb down. Bend your elbow and come to hold your strap behind your back, having it as high up as is comfortable and as close to your spine as you can get it. Now the left hand reaches up. You're bending your elbow and finding your strap. If you're not using a strap, you can just press your fingers towards each other like you want to clasp your hands together. And if you are using the strap, you might walk your hands a little bit closer to each other if that feels okay. Keep your top elbow pointed up. Your spine, including your neck, is nice and tall. We'll be here for 2 minutes. You can close your eyes or relax your gaze. Find your breath, taking deep breaths into your belly. Let it rise up into your chest and your throat. And as you exhale, empty your belly, empty your chest, empty your throat. There is a lot happening in this pose. You might be tempted to fidget. That's completely normal. Unless you're in pain, try to challenge those urges and just prove to yourself that you are quite strong, quite still, quite calm. You can breathe through any situation. And you don't always have to react to certain urges. Before we move on, check in on your top elbow. Make sure it's still pointed up. Your spine is still tall. Take 3 more big breaths in and out. Gently starting to release your grip from the strap. You can remove your strap for now and then interlock your fingers so you can press your palms away from you. Round your shoulders and maybe round your spine. With an exhale, you can drop your hands back down. And now we're moving into eagle arms. Right arm reaches out in front, pressing your fingers away from you. Swing your left arm in underneath, and then you can come to hold opposite shoulders. Or to go a little bit deeper, you can take a twist into your arms so your palms are facing each other. Remember, if you can feel it, you're doing it. So don't worry about what version you're at. Wherever you are now, if you get that invite to go deeper, to take it to the next level, you can start to lift your elbows up. Drop your chin towards your chest. Staying here for 2 minutes, you'll be able to explore your edges because each edge comes with lifting your elbows a little bit higher. Here again, you can show yourself that you can do it, that you can be soft, you can be still, you can breathe through anything. Take 3 more deep breaths. Very slowly unravel your arms. We're going to lean back on our hands now. Undo your legs. Big sigh. Take a moment maybe just to shake out your legs here. You can do whatever your body is craving. Now we want to bring the hands back as far behind us as feels good. We're going to open up the shoulders in the opposite way just by leaning back on them. And you can stay like this, or you can come into a sitting swan pose. So you're taking your right ankle up onto your left thigh, and this is your first edge. So if you are invited to go to the next edge, you can start to gently press that right knee away from you. We're going to stay like this for 2 minutes. Kind of feels like you're relaxing on the beach, just lying back, soaking up the sun. So if that helps, you can imagine that right now. As we're here, question again those thoughts that are coming in. Often if our physical body isn't really being challenged, our mind will start to pipe up. But some poses are for the mind, just to teach them to be still, to be quiet. So let's practice that for the last 3 breaths. When you're ready, you can start to come back. And now we'll repeat on the opposite side. So this time your left foot is coming back towards your right hip. You're staying with your half shoelace, or maybe you're bending to find our full shoelace pose. Wiggling around, adjusting, finding our seat bones. Taking a breath or 2 here. As I sometimes mention, the 2 sides of the body are very different. So what worked on one side might not work on the other side. And you'll especially notice this with cow face arms. The 2 sides are very, very different. So when you're ready to come to cow face arms, reach your left arm out in front, push it away, bring it back until it won't go back anymore. Turn the thumb down and find your strap. Right arm reaches up, bending the elbow, finding the strap or pressing the hands towards each other. Find your appropriate depth, point the top elbow up, keep your neck and spine as long as possible. Here for 2 minutes. Building that relationship with your breath, following it all the way in, all the way out. This pose, as you can tell, is a great way to open up your shoulders and your chest. It also helps to straighten your upper spine, so it's a very good pose for your posture. And of course, we're also opening up our hips here. So make sure you're sending your breath into every area that is asking for it. Take 3 more breaths, keeping that top elbow pointed up, sitting tall. And when you're ready, you can start to slowly unravel, removing our strap for now. Interlocking the fingers, pressing the palms away from us, rounding the spine, the shoulders, and dropping the head. From here, you can transition into eagle arms, this time reaching your left arm out in front, pushing it away, bringing the right arm underneath, finding opposite shoulders or twisting. Lifting the elbows up to that first edge, dropping your head, pausing for 2 minutes. 3 more breaths. When you're ready, you can slowly undoing your legs as well. Again, here you can shake them out, do whatever you need to do. Now we're coming back to that lying on the beach position, so your hands are coming right back. This time your left ankle might come up onto your right thigh. Committing to this stillness, quietness for 2 minutes. When you're ready to release, you can do so. Making our way back up to sit. And from here, we're coming into butterfly pose. So you can bring the soles of your feet together, just allowing your knees to drop. I'm going to sit up on a yoga block for this one. You are, of course, welcome to do the same, or you can sit on a cushion. If your knees need a little bit of support, you can put that cushion or yoga block in underneath as well. So from here, we are going to bring our hands down onto the mat with our palms facing up. So when we are sitting a little bit higher, we're going to feel a little bit more strain in the wrists, which is what we're focusing on here. You want to try to get all your fingers down onto the mat, and then try to get the front of your wrist, so the crease of your wrist, towards the mat as well. And you'll start to feel that stretch within your forearm. And we're just gonna keep our hands like this for 1 minute. Keep actively pressing your fingers and your wrist into the mat without using too much muscular power. Now you can flip over your hands, so the palms of your hands are on your mat. Fingers are still pressing into the floor or into the mat, and you're pressing the heel of your hands into the mat as well. So now we start to feel this through the front of the arms. Holding for another minute. When you're ready, you can start to push the floor away from you, coming back to sit. We'll lift our knees slowly back up together. You can remove whatever you're sitting on if you are, and then we're going to come down to lie on our backs. Ending this Yin Yoga practice with a supine twist. So to begin, you can bring both of your knees up towards your chest, then peel your tailbone off the mat and drop both knees over towards the left. Then your arms will come out wide left to right. So it's quite subtle, but still so much happening internally here. Just tune into those sensations you're feeling. Keep sending your breath into them. Some options to go deeper is to take your left hand up onto that top leg, gently encouraging the knees more towards the floor. To incorporate your neck, you can look over at your right hand. You can also straighten out this top leg, which is your right leg, sending it more over towards the left. Holding here for 2 minutes in total. You can start to slowly come out of the pose now, bringing both knees back up towards your chest, peeling the tailbone off the mat again and dropping your knees towards the right. Maybe looking left, maybe bringing your right hand up onto your top knee and maybe straightening out that top leg. As we come towards the end of the practice, it can become challenging for your mind. You might start to think about what's coming next, but we can really bring our yin energy with us beyond the time on the yoga mat if we can keep our awareness here for as long as possible. And then you'll be able to approach your next tasks with a little bit more calmness, maybe a little slower, a little more relaxing. So you can always think about those things later. For now, focus on what's happening on your mat. You can start to release your pose, slowly bringing your knees back up. Take your hands onto your knees and make slow circles here, massaging through your lower back. And then switching directions. Now we'll set ourselves up for final relaxation. So unfurling yourself into Shavasana pose, making yourself as comfortable as you can, doing whatever you need to do, using extra blankets or some more clothes, whatever you need. Let your arms and legs find the perfect place to rest. They can take up as much space as they need. Soften your facial muscles. Relax your jaw. Unclench your shoulders, dropping them into the earth. Softening your belly, your abdomen. Allowing your hips to become heavy, dropping to the earth. Softening your thighs, your knees, your calves. Relaxing your feet. Notice all of the parts of your body that are connected to the earth. Your heels, your calves, your glutes, the back of your hands, the back of your upper arms, your shoulders, the back of your head. Feel the support of the ground beneath you and just let your body grow heavier and heavier, feeling your body melting into the earth. We'll take the next few minutes to allow the body to fall into a deep relaxation where it can heal and rejuvenate and rest. you can start to bring a little bit of awareness back, making small adjustments. In your own time, coming to lie on the right side of your body. Staying here for a few breaths, thanking yourself for showing up and for doing this practice. Thanking your body and your mind for being able to get you here, and for all that it did for you today. And trying to keep your awareness inward, you can slowly pick yourself back up into a seat. And we'll end the practice as we started, just taking a few quiet breaths. So once you've found your comfortable way to sit, close your eyes. Take a full breath in. Open your mouth to exhale. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes again. Thank you so much for joining me, and well done for doing this video. If you have any feedback, questions or comments, please let me know. I would be happy to help as much as I can. You can leave a comment below or feel free to reach out, and I will see you next week. But until then, take care and goodbye.